Penny Rafferty Realty here. I'm here with my friend Jarad Brown, and today we're talking about loans. And if you saw a previous video, Jarad and I have been working together for about 13 years. We've known each other from Savannah, but today we're going to talk about HELOCs, which are called, what does HELOC stands for?
Home Equity Line of Credit.
Home Equity Line of Credit, because what I've been experiencing is that there are buyers that want to buy and sellers that want to sell. However, I need to sell my home before I can buy yours. So we're talking about what we can do to make you a non-contingent buyer before you sell this house because you want to move to your home, whether you're a move-up buyer and want to move into a different school district, or whether you're downsizing and trying to live life in Margaritaville. So Jarad, tell us about HELOCs.
Yeah, HELOCs are a great option. In fact, I think most buyers should set up a HELOC shortly after buying a house to have it available, right? It is a line of credit using your house as collateral, okay? So just like a credit card, if there's no balance, there's no payment, right? They're very inexpensive and readily easy, or, quick to get. Typically the cost on a home equity line of credit is going to be the appraisal and any closing fee, like attorney fee for the closing. So typically under a couple of grand in cost for the money, which makes them very inexpensive.
Are there annual fees to keep up the HELOC?
No, there are no annual fees to keep up a home equity line of credit. The interest rates do fluctuate. Most of them are going to be adjustable rate mortgages. And there'll be a period of time that you can draw on your home equity line and then pay it down, put more on it, pay it off. People use them. My grandfather always used his home equity line so that he could make cash offers on cars back in the day. Back whenever negotiating vehicles with cash made them a lot cheaper, he'd use his home equity line for that. People use it for tuition payments because those are typically big chunk payments. Tax payments, things like that, right? And so having that available, especially if you're disciplined enough not to just use it for trips to Fiji, right? Especially if you're a disciplined buyer, having those available to you early on will help out so that whenever you do need them, you can just stroke the check. Now, for your buyers, it's a great way to be non-contingent on your offer. A lot of home buyers are waiting till they sell their house so that they can move the equity from their current home to the home that they're buying. They need it for the down payment. They need it to make the payment on the home they're buying affordable, right? This is where a HELOC can step up and help, right? You get the home equity line. Most lenders will allow you to go to about 85 or even 90% of the value of your home on a home equity line.
Or the appraised value.
Or the appraised value, whenever they're doing the loan, what the appraised value comes back at. And depending on how high up you push that, those could be desktop appraisals or, real life.
So do you have to have some equity in your house in order to do a HELOC?
You have to have something to tap into, right? You have to have the equity in the home. But the good thing is we've seen, people that have owned their homes since 2018 or before have a good bit of equity built up due to increased home values.
Thankfully. But for those of you bought in 2022, maybe not so much.
Right.
Maybe not so much.
Well, unless you put a lot down. Unless you put money down whenever you bought the home, right? And what I always tell buyers whenever they're like, how can I know how much my house is worth? You could always pay for appraisal on yourself on the front end, but that's going to cost you $500 to $700. Never trust Zillow and what Zillow tells you. So what I typically tell people is call your realtor. Have your realtor do a CMA, which is a
comparative market analysis.
To let you know, because their numbers are going to come in really close to what an appraisals. They're pulling from the same pools. They're looking at recent sales in the area, and they'll be able to give you within a small range of what your home's value is going to be.
So, do I need a specific credit score? I mean, tell me how this is going to work. I have the HELOC on my house. I have equity in my house. I'm ready to make an offer on that house, while I still have to sell this one. How's that going to look?
Absolutely. So as with any mortgage product, they are risk-based. So the better your credit score, the lower the interest rate's going to be on it. You will need at least a 640 to set up a home equity line, and I wouldn't go for one unless you have a 680 or above, because the interest rate's just going to be really, really high on it. As for setting it up, it takes typically about 2 or 3 weeks to close on a home equity line of credit, and then that money's available to you immediately.
So then I have to pay my mortgage, pay my HELOC,
Mm-hmm.
plus I'm buying this one over here. So really I have 2 mortgages and really a second mortgage. So I
Right.
have 3 payments.
And most HELOCs are interest-only payments
Okay.
on that amount for a set period of time, right? So it'll be a 5-year that's interest only before it goes into a standard repayment term. But you would have your current mortgage and the HELOC and the new house.
So then you would have to qualify for that house over there.
Correct. You would
This
have to
house
be able
over
to carry
here
both
while
debts.
you're carrying this. So you have to be able to carry both mortgages plus the HELOC and have the right credit score, debt to income ratio. So there's a whole bunch more to do if you want to use this.
But that's the quickest and the cheapest. So if you can't
Quickest and the cheapest.
if you can't carry both mortgages, and when I say quickest and cheapest, I mean in lender fees and time it takes to get the money
Okay.
to have available. If you can't do that, that's where the bridge loan comes in. So a bridge loan is for people that can't, with their cash flows, make both mortgage payments, or the additional HELOC and
That's
the
a different video.
Yeah, we'll give you good information on that.
That's a different video. But what we, again, the whole thing was to talk about some options that if you have outgrown your home and you're ready to grow into your new home or get into a different school district, this is an option for you.
Yeah.
Could be the best option or could not be the best option, but it's one worth exploring.
Right, especially in today's market, I'm seeing less and less contingent offers being accepted by sellers. Houses are sitting a little bit longer, they're taking a little bit longer to sell, and so most sellers aren't looking to accept a contingent offer. So if you have the house you love, if it's the one, a home equity line of credit could be a means to an end.
And the house we're sitting in, that the sellers have said absolutely no contingent offer. So that's kind of the jumping off point for us, is to be able to pass this video on to the people and say, hey, there's options. And the only option is not I'm gonna sell my house, have the cash in my hand before I can buy your house. So we're kind of talking about some different ways that people can buy the house they want or buy the house they need and be able to move on with their life.
Yeah. Because that's better than the third option, which is sell your house,
And then
and,
you're
and
homeless.
kind of live in an RV for a while, and then, find the house you want to buy and then buy it. That's a tougher option.
It is an option. I mean, it certainly is.
It's a harder one.
If you have a longer time frame, right, you can sell your home, take the money in your hand, and then you have time to look. And that also gives you a little bit of competitive advantage because you don't have a house to sell, you're ready, willing, and able. You have to be pre-qualified with a lender, but you have the cash in hand. So that is the worst and the best scenario of all. But when you sell your house, then you become, where am I gonna put all my stuff and where am I gonna live?
Yeah, for homeowners that have owned for a while and have been responsible homeowners, the most important thing is to just know that there's options out there. Get in front of a mortgage lender, have them explore your options. Speak with your financial advisor, maybe put a little team together of a loan officer, a realtor, and a financial advisor so that we can really look at your unique situation and figure out which of those options works best for you.
So I'm gonna tell you a quick little story that happened to me this morning. Had a house under contract, they terminated the contract. I finally started talking to the agent. I said, what happened? He had his house under contract, it terminated, he terminated my contract. Totally not acceptable. So then we started talking about some different options and how we can make him non-contingent to buy my property. Not the one I own, but the one I'm selling. So that's kind of a jumping off point for Jarad and I, because we both experienced the same thing, that if you can't buy that home and we can't help you, then there's no movement in the real estate market.
I have buyers all the time. I had one moving from Florida to South Georgia, and they wanted a house that would not take a contingent offer. Theirs had been on the market for 2 months, hadn't sold. I taught them about our bridge loan program. They took advantage of that, and before they made their first bridge loan payment, they already had a contract on their home to sell it. So I believe they made one bridge loan payment, or didn't make the payment. One bridge loan payment got tacked onto the payoff, and their house closed. So, for most people, you hope if you're wanting to sell and buy, that the one you're selling goes pretty quickly.
And that's all about pricing. That's a different video. But we have had people that have used these products and have experienced a successful outcome. So that's, again, why we're talking about this. So visit my website, Penny Rafferty Realty. It's under the resource page. You'll get more information. Reach out to me. You know my name, you know my number. And remember, who you work with matters.